After the planning process, we're ready to start the pre-wire.
Now, pre-wire rough-in work is divided into a number of simple steps. Install the rough-in panels and outlet hardware, prepare the cable runs, drill the holes, pull and label the cable and secure it, and finally protect the pre-wire until trim out.
This is most of the hardware and cable that we'll be using for the rough-in. We've got cable hangers, back boxes, panels. I've got cable on big spools, and I've got a lot of wire in boxes.
You name it, we got it.
Yeah, I guess we do. We'll describe how the equipment is installed as we go along.
And we'll also be using the equipment and cable schedule we made during the planning process to know what to install and where.
Well, why don't I get started with the panels?
Great. I'll take the rough-in outlet hardware.
Okay, sounds
All right.
good.
Rich starts by mounting the first of two 50-inch enclosures. On the bottom, he removes the knockout for the electrical junction box. Then he removes the three knockouts on the top, since we'll be routing all the cables out the top.
Hey Grayson, can you give me a hand? Okay, I'm ready for the panel.
Rich positions the enclosures between two studs at a convenient working height, leaving at least 12 inches of clearance above and below.
I'm going to shoot in the top screw.
And secures it in place with wood screws.
Good.
The screw slots allow the enclosure position to be adjusted so it's flush with the back of the studs. Once both 50-inch enclosures are mounted, we install grommet strips around the knockout holes to prevent cable jacket damage. Next, Rich installs a 28-inch enclosure. He removes the top knockouts and the electrical junction box knockout. We mount this panel with a bottom aligned with the two 50-inch panels and install grommet strips in the knockout holes. When the panels are secured, we enlist the help of the electrical contractor to install a dedicated 15-amp branch circuit wired through the junction box of each enclosure. We also install a number 10 copper ground conductor between the grounding lug on each panel and run it to the house grounding electrode at the service entrance. While Richard's mounting the distribution panels, the crew and I are going to start mounting the outlet rough-in hardware. And I'm going to start with this outlet here in the master bedroom. Now, while you can use regular electrical boxes for your rough-in, these open back boxes provide a lot more room for the cable. And they have little mounting ears to attach the cable, or in this case, flexible conduit. They come in 1 and 2 gang versions and just simply nail on just like any other outlet. You could also use these metal or plastic mud rings, as they're called. Carlin also makes this little sidecar device that has mounting ears and a little adhesive pad that allow you to attach it to the side of an existing electrical box. This lets you co-locate your low voltage outlet with the electrical outlet, obviously very handy. Now they also make a version that molds the low voltage side right onto the side of an electrical box. This is great if you can get the electrical contractor to mount these where you need them. Another company makes this metal ring that also attaches over an existing electrical box, nails to the stud, and provides 1 or 2 places for your low voltage wiring as well. Now, when mounting standalone rough-in devices, keep the height above the floor consistent with the existing electrical boxes or light switches that are already in the room. If there are no nearby electrical boxes, the default recommended height for outlets is 12 inches from the subfloor. The height's usually measured from the subfloor to the lower outlet hole. 48 inches for volume controls, switches, and keypads, and 58 inches for consoles and keypads with a graphic display. Most of the rough-in boxes we'll be mounting will be standalone, such as this single gang box that Rich is mounting. But at several locations, we'll be using the rough-in bracket that snaps onto existing electrical boxes. Remember that anytime you co-locate low voltage wiring with high voltage wiring, they must be separated by a non-metallic barrier. Rich and I continue to mount rough-in boxes at tag locations. here Rich attempts to nail a double gang box in the entertainment shelf area. Well, at least he tries. He has better luck with the snap-on boxes. We mount a combination high and low voltage outlet rough-in the top of the hall closet where the wireless access point will be located. And at wall phone locations, we mount mud rings at a convenient height for the phone. We also mount rough-ins for the cameras. This one in the kitchen and great room area, and outside on the front and back porch. And for the core access panel, security keypads, and volume controls.
Now earlier we drilled a hole in the roof here and put a 2-inch pipe through. This is for our cables for satellite and off air to get them up on the roof. Now we've used just standard 2-inch PVC pipe through one of these roof flashing gadgets from a home supply store. We've done an initial patch around to keep the moisture out, and the roofers will finish that off when they finish the roof. Now once we pull the cables through, we'll put them through this 180-degree bend, keep rain out, and when we're done pulling the cables, we'll stick some insulation up there to keep the moisture out.
The access pipe is secured with a conduit clamp in the rafter space below.
And we'll paint this for UV protection as well.
At a location near the electrical service entrance, we mount a 4x4 junction box with a plastic conduit attached so it'll pass through the outside wall. This will get our TP and coax cables outside to the service provider's NID.
Well, Grayson, I think that takes care of all the rough-in hardware.
Excellent. Time to drill our cable paths, I hope.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
let's go over how we plan to run the cables.
Okay.